2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to another album review of On Beat Off Script. Right now we're going to be covering the highly anticipated, I know a lot of people are mega fans of Tame Impala, and their new album, Deadbeat. I'm Brandito. I'm joined here with Rose. Mel and Bob are too busy to be with us, unfortunately, so we get to have some actual intelligent conversation about music this time, which is kind of fun and exciting. Rose, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. My tea's a little too hot for me to sip apparently yet.
Yeah, no,
So we're here.
Up.
We're ready.
It's only getting hotter. Yeah, we're gonna be covering Tame Impala, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know. We're gonna find out here right away. You want to go into explaining who Tame Impala is? Tame Impala is an Australian psych pop outfit formed by Kevin Parker. He does all of the writing, recording, and production, and has additional band members for touring only. Parker began the project in 2007 after posting a bunch of tracks of his solo work to MySpace, which actually got the interest of a couple of labels. They dropped their self-titled EP in 2008, which charted in a few Australian spots and opened up for them to open for bands like the Black Keys and MGMT. Finally, Tame Impala dropped their debut album, Inner Speaker, in 2010 to pretty critical acclaim, to high praise, being named by Pitchfork as Best New Music. In 2012, they dropped their sophomore title, Lonerism, which was selected by Rolling Stone as a 2012 Album of the Year, and also landed them a spot at Coachella and on The Late Night Show. It also was nominated for Album of the Year at the 2014 Grammys for Best Alternative Music. They moved on to drop Currents to large commercial success. That was probably the one that most people who don't know Tame Impala probably know. And then the Slow Rush in 2020. Tame Impala's music is psych rock at its core, but with a lot of influence from early 2000s and 1990s pop music, which kind of makes for a fun combination of the two sounds, along with like the shoegazy effects of like My Bloody Valentine, which really kind of create this very unique psych pop wall of noise that was kind of their definitional signature sound. The use of synth and electronica in the psych format really helps kind of define it away from the psych sounds of like the 60s and the 70s, and brings it to the 21st century. Deadbeat is their fifth studio album, and in pretty classic Tame Impala form, it's designed to kind of be another creative project of a music nerd with all of the studio and things that come with it to create just more unique, identifiable sounds. So, Rose, how do you feel before going into the track by track? Do you think it was unique and identifiable?
It sure was unique.
I'd say identifiable as well, but
Sure. I'll give him identifiable.
it hit specifically what it intended to. But let's find out if sonically it's okay. Do you have anything else you want to say regarding Tame Impala before we jump in?
I completely forgot that we had listened to a single off of this until I heard it on the album, and then all of a sudden was like, I've heard this before, haven't I?
Yeah.
So I obviously have not listened to a ton of Tame Impala. I did go listen to some of his other stuff after this. Not super in depth. I may see about revisiting some of it, but just out of like curiosity. So it's a very different album from the bits that I heard.
100%. Cool. Well, let's kick everything off then with a little bit of My Old Ways. Let's listen.
Thought I would never go back, but just this once. A little present for holding out so long. I could not bear the thought of it 2 days ago. Don't think I would forgive myself. I tell myself I'm only human.
There you go.
I like the little piano riff it has that it starts off with. And then I really didn't like when the vocals came in, it sounded like they were in two totally separate rooms. And usually that's a cool effect. The problem is that they weren't in the same room, 2 rooms away, and the vocals were very overshadowed, which is a very interesting choice for the start of your album. I was a little nervous it was going to be that the whole time. I was very glad when the bass kind of kicked in and everything actually finally felt like it was in the same place. I couldn't quite tell because it was so empty if it was supposed to have sort of like almost more of a loungy kind of like beat feel to it, or because the bass is so prominent if it was supposed to be more house almost. It just felt a little empty to me. But I wasn't gonna be too mad about it. It is the opening track. There were some weird choices at a couple of different points. There was a neat little bass line that happened and then just kind of went away. And I liked the bass line. I would have liked more of it. And it did feel a little bit like someone's first experiment into doing almost like a house EDM sort of vibe. And I don't know that this went as well as I wanted it to for a starting track on an album of that.
See, I feel very much the opposite. I think this was initially my favorite track. I really liked the cool piano opening on it. Like, that's fun. I appreciated that a lot. It had a really nice, like, lo-fi vibe with a super cool sound. I liked that the separation of the vocals and the beat and stuff like that.
So weird.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a really cool way to start everything off. The beat starts to really kind of come out after like a period of time. I thought the production was super cool on this track. It's tight. It feels really unique, which is my biggest thing, is it doesn't sound the same as anything else. You know what I mean? Like that to me was like the biggest thing. I loved this part where I'm like, this is a cool way to take a house beat and like kind of turn it into like this electronica indie dance kind of a track. And I was like, this is a cool way to do that. Where I end up having problems with this album is just how often that ends up being what happens, and the fact that it really never divides away from that. And genuinely, like I said, that pounding beat, which is so simple, it's really easy. I was with it. There does come a point in time when it's still doing that, and you're like, why are we still doing this? Can we do anything else? Like I said, it's got this really nice house beat, this really light background vocal. It comes in really big and powerful for the chorus. I was like, I'm really down for what this album's gonna end up being.
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
So my fear was with it it felt like there was not enough development or change for 5 minutes. And it got me real worried.
Well, and here's the thing. I was fine with it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we go into No Reply, which I don't even know where this clip ends. I've got no idea. We're going to find out, because this is the one that I forgot to put one. So let's listen to the clip. This is when I said, oh no.
Yeah.
Because the last track was my favorite one of the album, and like it just kind of continues to go downhill from here because of just it ends up being the same thing over and over again. And then like this is where I'm like, oh, we're not vibing. This is just going to be something that we're going to fight through, I guess. It turns out. It's a very early 2010s, like kind of heavy drum beat. With an attempt at like kind of like the tropical kind of drum sound, but it's not really there. the woody drums are just so much with how lo-fi everything else is sounding. The drums, like, they're just jarring. Like, he's trying to create this wall of noise, but he's letting the drums break the wall, like, genuinely in 4/4 time over and over again. It's just boom, 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 over and over again, while nothing else really gets a chance to be absorbed. Like, if you want to create a wall of noise, you kind of need to scale everything back to the same place and then move from there. This feels like drum fetishism pushed, like, in my face, and I'm not given a chance to actually experience anything. I think Tame Impala is, like, a pretty good singer. I can't hear him. All I can hear is bass over and over and over again. And I will say this is one of the most interesting beat portfolios of the album, which isn't saying much, because it's also, if you're gonna make it front and center and you're gonna make this like a drum album, a drum and bass album, why did you pick the most boring drum like cadence ever? Nothing really feels overly unique about it. It doesn't touch on the shoegaze that I hoped it would. The drums are way too much. The best moment of this song is the outro. In my opinion, it was kind of a pretty way to end an otherwise like really boring and unbalanced track. And that's not saying much, because then I start to get angry at outros as we continue through the album, because then we end up with another just batch of outros that are bad. The things that I like early in this album get so overdone that I end up resenting them at the end. So, how do you feel about No Reply?
I put a couple of different notes here, starting off with that I was going to fly up there and kick you in the shin for making me listen to this, because I already was like, I am not about to have a good time. I already knew. I said, okay, well, let me take a look first at the lyrics and try to do, I'll approach it from the male side of things, and the lyrics, just stuff like, you're a cinephile, I watch Family Guy, tell me you're fucking joking. I can't tell if you're trying to be funny or if you're trying to be like a sarcastic, edgy teenager. Like, I don't like terrible lyrics, don't like them. Genuinely, you cannot convince me that's a good lyric. That's a fine lyric. You looked at that and went, yeah, that goes on an album. Terrible. Like, the whole thing itself, I was excited that we at least were doing something different with the bass for a second. I was intrigued by the drums. I don't know that I like the texture that we were adding with those specific drums, but I'm willing to hear you out and try it. I hated
you'll hear them out.
The plinky, like, toy piano. This bing, 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 and it's like it's out of tune and it's not right. Why are we doing that? Like, I don't understand. What did that actually add to anything? This whole song just started to piss me off, and I was like, I am about to have a very bad time.
Yeah.
Very bad time.
I would agree. I'm right there. Well, it's a good thing that you can recover it with apparently your favorite song in Dracula. Let's listen.
In the end, I hope it's you and me. In the darkness, I would never leave you. Never see me in the light of day. It's far too late. The time has come. I'm on the verge of caving in. I run back to the dark. Now I'm Mr. Charisma, fucking Pablo Escobar. My friends are saying, shut up, Kevin, just get in the car. I just wanna be right where you are. Oh, my love. In the end, I hope it's you and me. In the darkness, I would never leave people. Saw this moment coming from afar.
If you just go head empty vibes, it's a fine song.
Well, I mean, first of all, it sounds like a song from The Weeknd.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a Tame Impala song. It has nothing to do with psych pop. This sounds like The Weeknd.
Yeah, and we went back to the very 4 on the floor bass again, which, you know what? If that's the beat we want to go with, sure.
It's yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt it on the pre-chorus kind of area, but then I lost it again in the chorus. I was like, this is cool, but in like a, oh, cool kind of way, not in a way that like I'm actually getting it. And then I started to hate it more and more because it feels messy for a 4/4 time song. Like it's
Yeah, and I get
like
that.
not to get like overly technical on it, because like production wise it's really clean, but it just seems really disjointed at times through the same track. It's this night beat sort of whatever, and it's just not doing it for me. It's tacky. It's uncreative, in my opinion. This is a rough song, and again we have once again those drums that are just banging in your face, no relent, overpower everything.
For me,
Then we move to
like,
Loser.
oh no, we gotta linger on this one for a second before we get to yours. Like, there's a lot of monotony in it, but I feel like a lot of this, like, the night beat hanging on kind of matches the stuff that he's doing with the lyrics, which is fine or whatever.
It's Dracula. Yes. Okay,
what's
cool.
Very interesting to me in the song is I like the production and I like the syncopation we get in some of the mix. And it's a very low bar, right? The bar is not up there. But I gotta at least go, wow, okay, so you at least gave me something, almost a third of the way through the album that I can kind of go, oh, okay.
I think what you just described to me is you just said that you're basic, and so you appreciate this song just because it's the most basic.
Listen, and if you can just give me something basic on this album after I have not been happy for 2 songs, I will take the, like, we're talking like you're giving me scraps, and at this point I just need something to get through the album. Like,
this was frustrating.
If I had to go back to something, I could throw this on and just let this play in the background at like Halloween party, I guess, and call it even. Like, you know, whatever.
That makes me more angry. The fact that she said Halloween party makes me hate it more. Because you're right. Yeah, that's the only place that it's cool. And the one thing that I hate is, why do people keep making music that sounds like it should be at an elementary school costume parade?
Well, this is where I start. After this is where I really start to feel some type of way about a lot of things. And I think I let them slide with a lot here because I was begging for something, you know?
Let's listen to Loser.
I get the message, I learned my lesson. Tried to correct it, I think I wrecked it. Now it's a crisis, I'm never like this. That's how my life is, you couldn't write this. I'm a loser, babe. Do you wanna tear my heart out?
So much better.
No.
This one doesn't have the drums trying to murder everybody. It's
The other one, at least, I think owns being, like, it's not trying to be deep. It's not trying to do anything. This one feels like the boy who will sit across from you and go, I play guitar, so anyways, here's Wonderwall. It's not deep. It's fake deep. You're not diving into anything. You're just going, yeah, I get it.
I'm
Like,
not the lyrics person. If you're
suck.
trying to
Like,
argue lyrics right now,
I
you
know.
might be 100%
The whole
correct. I'm not the
thing
lyrics person. You're arguing the
sucked.
wrong thing. Musically, this song is so much better.
It's so repetitive.
That's compared to Dracula?
Dracula at least had some syncopation or something for me to go, okay, like, whatever. This, no. I straight up wrote, maybe this is the kind of deadbeat of why we got the title that we did. Like, you're just being a deadbeat.
This is the one. This is
No.
absolutely so much better than Dracula. Dracula's
Why did we-
brutal.
Dracula
this
is better than
brutal.
Loser. Sorry. Dracula, at least I could put on and enjoy. I cannot think of a single context where I want to hear Loser again.
Oh no, like this is
I
like it's
can't.
indie rock, it's not edge pop. Like if that's maybe that's just your thing. Maybe you're cool with edgy pop music, which is again, like
you might be a
this
cinephile.
This is the
but
right type of track. It's cool. Like I could come back to this. It's way more immersive. It's not hyper beat focused. Why are we why I don't know why you'd want to listen to something where the drums overpower everything else. Makes no sense to me. It does,
but at least the others, they all seem to have like the theming of, okay, we're kind of trying to do like a house EDM-y album. This doesn't fit in that, so I don't even understand why this is on the album right now contextually. Like,
well, I'm confused what you mean.
everything else, even though it's not good, everything else is at least trying to kind of be in the same style and is clearly different experiments within that style.
This is actually like indie psych rock. This is what he's billeted as.
Well,
the rest of it is not.
Okay, and I'm happy for him. Do this
So
on
this
the
is
whole
what-
album then.
This is what we're
Or at
looking
least
for.
dig
this is what,
into
this
this
is what
more.
I was looking for with him doing music. This is 100%. I don't want this stupid this aggressive house pop. It's brutal. Dracula is a brutal track. It's just the best produced.
That's part of it, which I don't like the production of this. I feel like it's just too forefront the whole way.
I can get that
and it really
part.
detracts from it for me.
That I can understand a little bit. The only thing that I prefer about this production that has made me so angry at the last two tracks is the drums. The fact that the drums are properly balanced is why I appreciate this song so much more than anything else. Everything else was bad. I shouldn't say everything else. There is a couple of songs. Losers is a good track in my opinion. I enjoy this a lot.
It's fine.
Oblivion is up next. Let's listen to that.
The first 20 seconds of this track, I was really excited. I went, oh, we're kind of doing a reggaeton thing. Okay, this should be interesting. Maybe, okay, never mind, it's over. And the biggest issue I had with this one was the weird special effects and sound effects that were put throughout that didn't really... I don't want to say they weren't thought out, because I would like to give you the benefit of the doubt that they were. But I don't understand what their purpose was. I don't know what they were adding. I feel like they're detracting. There are times where we just throw a sound effect in and we never hear it again. And the sound effect choices are just weird. I don't understand when you're producing and mixing something. If you're adding to it, the reason should be, why should I add this? And what does that bring, or what does that highlight? Or I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was just, I don't know, throw it in there, and I felt it.
I don't know. I'm completely unaware of how you heard anything other than the beat. Again, the beat is just they're back. They're annoyingly present. I like the last
you
track
have to keep
because
in
it's
mind,
lo-fi.
I've been doing marching band standing next to 6 bass drums, right
And
here.
you're okay
so
with this?
I can go,
shit.
okay, you want me to feel more than hear the beat, and you're trying to give me that effect. A lot of people have been doing that lately. It's not my thing, but I see what you're trying to do. I really took beef with the rest of everything else, because oh boy.
See, I like the lo-fi vibe of everything else. These drums are what's taking everything away. Because the other part too. So the drums are so aggressive. The beat portfolio is also the most basic. There's nothing
Yep.
there. But over and over again.
Oh, I hit him for that soon. I'm waiting for
the
my note because it was a
whole
little
thing.
scathing. But
Like the beat portfolio is overly simplified. It's milk toast
yeah, it's
of drums.
a lot of it is very basic 4/4 and
Which I'm okay with the drums being at the forefront if that's what you want to do. But then give me something other than the same thing over and over again for 5, 6. Some of these tracks are 7 minutes long of that. The beat portfolio is the least complex that it could be while making it the absolute center stage of the whole thing. It's jarring, it's gross. I like the complexity of the backtrack, but you can barely hear it because the beat performance is so overbearing. It's mixed so poorly. So truthfully, we're kind of arguing the same things
we're
from
arguing the
opposite
same point from
sides.
opposite sides. Yeah,
Right? Like, we're both saying, like, you're saying, I hate all of this other stuff. Just give me the beat if that's what you want to do. Fair enough. I'm saying, I like all of this stuff. Get rid of this beat if that's what you want to do. So we're just like, both of those things individually, I'm sure, are, like, actually solid.
it's the weird
You're s-
juxtaposition. They're not. Nothing feels like it is intentionally blended together, and like this is where I started to kind of wonder: is the reason this is called Deadbeat because you just kind of like.
You beat us till you're dead? Till we're dead?
Well, not even just that, but deadbeat implies like lack of effort or absence, or you usually hear like deadbeat parent, deadbeat, like
Yeah.
boyfriend, or so you're just like giving us the bare minimum and like piecing out, like it starts to feel like you've hit on like your kid's keyboard some of the pre-programmed like little beats, and then you go, yeah, okay, now throw on some like sound effects off of like this, and like it just
So-
it doesn't feel thought out and intentional like I want it to.
So here's why I believe that I'm right from us both hating on the album, but this is why I think that I'm right. If he wanted it to be a beat album like this, he would have done more with that beat. That's how I feel about it. But now that you just reminded me that the whole thing is called Deadbeat, I'm like, maybe it is supposed to be a beat fetish album. In
Well,
which
almost
case,
the way that he's treating the beat makes you think that he wants it to be like an EDM like leaning thing, but then you're not following through with that with the way that you're mixing and the way that you're stylizing or
Correct.
adding these effects and things. And I don't know, it feels like at a certain point that you just are giving this to people to be like, shut the hell up about it, or
And what
that you're
I know-
intentionally trying to make us feel so, like, and I just don't know, man. Like,
what I know of Tame Impala tends to be like that lo-fi vibe, so that's what I'm looking for on these, and I can't find it because that beat's so overbearing. So maybe you're a bigger fan of the beat, and I'm a bigger fan of the lo-fi. Either way, they're not mixing together.
well, I mean, the
and
only
I
thing I've
feel
heard
like
about Tame Impala before was when we covered a single from this that was
Yeah.
leaning more towards like that EDM-y sort of thing. So that's what I've been looking for, thinking that's what
100%.
the album's gonna be. And then, of course, like I said, I went and listened to a couple of like snippets, at least, of some other stuff, and it's so different. I'm like, I appreciate the creativity. I don't know that this is the direction for us, you
No.
know?
Well, I don't think it was the direction from them. Let's move on. Let's listen to Not My World. We can spend all day.
Yeah.
Just in time to catch the last hours of sunlight. People going home, they walk by. Must be nice. Must be nice. Makes me realize it's not my world. It's not my world.
So I know I've been blasting the beats, the whole album. This felt like it was supposed to just be a beat track.
Yeah, this one was the first one where I felt like you understood as an artist where to place everything to try to put people into a flow state. Like the pulse kind of setup that you had was nice. The bass and the little like bell like synths that you do, especially towards the end, were well done. It's again the same beat, so this is where I made my note. Like, it really feels like you're walking up to a kid's keyboard,
100%.
hitting like, I want this, and then it just boom, but like the whole time in the background, like that's not what I'm looking for, you know.
No.
And
This was one of my favorites because this is the one where the beat actually felt like it could just independently stand by itself, and you had a little bit of something going on in the background. Again, the beat is the most simple thing that's ever existed, but at least it was mixed in a way that, like, I knew what was trying to be at the front of this one, and it wasn't just the drums punching everything else out of its way. This felt like it was intentional for it to be like that. It starts off kind of quiet, which is also like a pretty promising thing for me. Then it does actually grow as it keeps going. This whole album starts to feel like you're standing outside of a nightclub,
yeah,
and you're just all you can hear is bass and beat, and kind of hear everything else. In my opinion, I'm on the outside of a brick building where there's a rave going on inside, trying to figure out what the song is. That's all I'm doing at this point. I think this is the aesthetic that I think he intended to do on the other tracks,
and just really
but
missed the mark.
missed on, especially the tracks that I was talking about, like Oblivion, like Dracula, like No Reply. Like, those ones specifically, I feel like this was the aesthetic that he was trying to get. That's why I appreciated it more than the other ones. It has that little breakdown. You get the complexity of some soundscapism without, like, disheveling it with the drums. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this album at this point. Like, I genuinely don't.
It feels messy and, like, it's half-cocked. Like, there's stuff where I can see, like, okay, if you had done XYZ, I can see where this could potentially have become a fine song.
Yeah.
You know, it might not be my favorite, but like it at least would be a track that I could go, okay, I see you're trying stuff, you know. But I mean,
Well, he's gonna try something else. Let's try Piece of Heaven.
Ever and ever, or never again. Don't know if I'll be here, baby. I guess that depends. 'Cause I'm in your bedroom. Ooh, it's a small piece of heaven.
Well, this was a
this was my
change up.
bedroom, I would be better off being single. Like, what it just it.
This was a change up from the heavy beat fetishism, but then it's got this
Yeah, but for
Enya
what?
ass string section.
It's like Enya meets like almost like trying to do like a Phil Collins sort of.
I heard
like,
a lot of Phil Collins on a couple of these actually.
and it doesn't land. It feels like a weird mashup. I don't hate the vocals, the lyrics. Whatever. Like
It's-
at this point,
yeah.
I've given up. I tried to do Mel Proud. I gave up. I couldn't keep doing it to myself to go, there's gotta be deeper meaning, and finding nothing. Like,
Yeah.
and the whole scoring of this, it feels very dense at like a cursory glance because there's just a wall of sound. The issue is the wall of sound is the same almost drone and goo goo over and over. There's like very little that actually happens. It's very empty. It's scored so widely that what is there, you can really feel the emptiness the more they add to it. It doesn't it doesn't make sense. And I don't know why you would do this. Like, I don't like
I agree. It's like, it's so weird that it's hard to like critique because it's just like I don't know where to start. There's so many things that are happening and each of them individually are like okay and I can get over it. But when you
it's
have
the
it
way
all
that they're
together, which
combining
is
it. and it doesn't make sense. It's like it's like you said, I want to do this, and you didn't think through how the elements have to interact or what you wanted it to really sound like. You just said, oh, well, I'm doing this kind of a song, so let me check all these boxes. There we go, send it. You didn't. It sounds like you didn't sit and go in with intention. Oh, I really want to add a beat. Okay, let's oh, well, now let's layer this. Okay, well, maybe I should bring the beat up, or maybe I should move and adjust this, or like... And we've had songs where you're just throwing shit at the wall and everything sticks, and then you have stuff like this where there's nothing.
Yeah.
And there's, like, balance it out at least, or, like, it makes no sense. Like, it baffles my mind. My flabbers are gasted because I don't know what to do with this.
100%. No, like I said, this is the one where the beat isn't the one that's taking over everything, but then you have this string section that's actually pulling the beat that is overtaking everything. This feels more balanced in a way, but only because you just removed a layer, I think, and just made the next closest layer instead be that penetrative, aggressive note. Not because you actually properly balanced it. You just removed a layer that got overtaken by whatever
it sounds
you're letting
like
it overtake.
it probably had more stuff, and then you ripped like 15 layers of stuff out.
Yeah.
And then said, well, that sounds better now that I've taken all this out. And you didn't think about, okay, does it sound like a song, or did everything else need to come out to make room for something else?
This was for me, this was like a perfect 50-50 of what I liked and what I didn't like, because it wasn't the drums, but it was still bad. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so it's not the drums per se, it's just the way that you're mixing this is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind the outro. That was just a nice little piano outro.
Yeah,
But that was it. But
that's
it's
where I think
also-
I just finally, like, had to, like, push myself away from the keyboard taking notes and just be like, I just don't understand what we're doing anymore.
It
Like,
genuinely, but the outro, like I said, it was two independently different tracks. It was two independently incomplete tracks. And it's as opposed to fleshing out either one of them, they just let them exist in the same track. And I don't know. Anyways, let's go on to Obsolete.
Always was so easy hanging out, but it sure doesn't feel like that now. I know that you have been feeling rough, or are you falling out of love? It's cheap, but the world's good deep. Promises get old, they get hard to keep.
What?
Just wait. Okay.
Tell it to me straight, don't tell me lies. Believe when I say I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm already talking like it's done. Same things like at least we had some fun. And things like I guess we met too young. The words got deep.
So it's. I like the guitars on the opening. I was like, this is cool. We get a little bit of differentiation on a beat note, which is kind of neat too. I was like, this, okay, maybe there's something.
it's very, like, 2000s R&B pop sort of a vibe for me.
The beat complemented, I feel like, everything a little bit better here. It didn't overpower everything, which was a really kindness, but every single time I heard a kick drum, I'm like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Because I'm like, it could at any moment. Like, it's
You're being held hostage by the drums the whole album, dude.
when I hear, like, every single time I hear that kick drum, I'm like I'm so nervous because it's so close. It's still really close to overpowering everything. He just brought it back like just like half a notch, and you're like, you needed the full notch, but like, it's better. It's better. I'm okay with it. Just please don't turn it up a notch at any point, because he's already done that to us earlier, where it started off light and then just continued to gradually grow, and it's like, I don't do that, please. That's all I'm asking. This one was, again, kind of another middle of the road because it's so close. It kind of sounds like a modern Phil Collins again, to me, I actually get a lot of Phil Collins out of this album for whatever reason, especially with the fact that there's a track called No Reply, which is also really strange. It's kind of got these 80s like soulful pop kind of sounds with like super tech notes, but like then you get another outro on this one. And the outro is like a weird abrasive
Is this where
synth
you finally
solo.
started being mad about the outro, or?
No. Like, I've been mad now at pretty much this whole album for like quite some time. That I don't know. It could have been one of my favorite songs of all time at this point, and I would probably still despise it. Like, that's where I was starting to get to. It's, just a weird synth solo at the very end. The songs on this album that I like, I really enjoy. And I know they're not the ones that you enjoy because I think that I like the lo-fi heavy, front focus. That is what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. The ones that you like are going to be more beat heavy, which is totally fine. Either way, he's not doing it gracefully in either direction.
He's got one foot in each camp, and it's just not. He needed to pick, you know?
Neither of them are really working.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them are really doing their job.
Well, it's
Did
like
you have
even
anything?
here, I mean, at this point the whole thing just feels tedious, and I hate to say it, look, at this point the whole album feels obsolete. Like, we could have gone without this whole album, and I think we would have been okay.
Been
Like,
better.
you know, and I hate to say
Actually,
that.
I
I
don't
think there
wanna
is
say that 'cause I
value in
like-
creating, but I feel like this is the kind of stuff that you do to figure out behind the scenes if you can make this music, and then you get a bunch of feedback, and when people say these are the 2 or 3 songs to look at, these if you're going this way, these if you're going that way, you take that, and then maybe you start from there to build the album. And I don't know. And I even made a note. I said, I just realized there's 3 more songs after this. Somebody's going to owe me a drink. For those of you following along at home, turns out I can't count. I left one of the songs off of my list when I made my list to give critique, and it was devastating. It was devastating to find out that there was one more song when I thought I was at the end.
Well, yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling then, if that's going to be the case. I don't know if you knew something about this next track, but I think the beat's going to be really aggressive. Let's listen to Ethereal Connection.
Don't believe in magic, all the harder that I try. You and I have something that I never can describe. Take a ride. Say goodbye. Don't say it too often, isn't usually my style. I'm here whatever happens, don't you know that I'll stand by.
I knew you were gonna like this one as soon as you said you were not enjoying the beat. Oh.
No, because this has like this manic, like trance-like beat, but then it just starts boom, boom, boom again. I'm like,
I literally wrote, I think we're kind of figuring out this combination of like flow state, dance beat, 9 songs into the album. I was like, I'm begging you to do anything at this point, anything to prove to me that we finally have learned what we're doing. I
it's-
like this more without the lyrics because I can just put it on and go flow state.
I like this without the
But-
drums because I can do the same thing. Like I said, the speed up on this one is just odd. It starts to overpower everything. It's a 7-minute song that stays pretty much like that.
The whole song. There's
You get
not
this
a lot
manic,
of development.
again, 4/4 beat with barely anything behind it.
4 on the
I
floor,
can
baby.
appreciate aggressive Edmund, like, or ED. I just said
Edmund?
EDM, like Edmonton, because that's where I'm from. EDM styling, but it's like also doing the least with that space. So like it's kind of adding layers as it's going, but like it also isn't going anywhere even with those added dimensions. Like it still ends up in the same place of nothingness.
It feels like we've learned something, and we don't quite know what. But we went, this is kind of working, and then we did nothing to try to develop it or figure out
No.
what it is or what it needed. And it leaves me wanting more. Like, at least I like, song-wise, rating-wise
don't.
on this, I gave it a 5 because I said at least we figured something out. Like,
don't
if
want
I
anything more.
just put this on and ignored half of what you did, I could just go flow state with this. And you know what? I'll at least take that. It's like an abusive ex, man. At this point, I'm begging for just something. Jesus
I genuinely
Christ.
I wrote this while I was at work on Wednesday listening to this track. My head hurts. This is hurting my head. My clip played the smallest sample of the repetitiveness that this track has delivered. I thought I was losing my mind.
This hurts my head. My head hurts.
I was losing my mind. I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Oh, cinematic
just-
masterpiece, really.
You get these mediocre drums and just really manic backtracks that you can barely hear because the drums are so in your face. I don't know. Let's talk about seeing each other on Monday. This is See You on Monday. In brackets, you're lost.
Happens every time I'm am I in love again? And just like that, she said, I'm the one you want, and you can turn me on. But life ain't too much fun when there's no telling where you're headed. I'm the one you want, and you can turn me on. Your life ain't too much fun when there's no telling where you'll end up.
I did not finish listening to this song.
Or this is the one
is-
you skipped?
This is the one a minute in. I said, I just can't do it anymore. I put, why does everything have to sound so fucking empty? Everything, there's nothing happening. Nothing is changing. Everything's so empty. It feels like you're crooning at me, and it's almost at this point like you're taunting me and teasing me, and I'm taking it a little personally, and I'm genuinely not listening to the rest of it. I listened barely to a minute of the song, and you know what? In the comments, rip me apart for that if I need to be, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. This is the first time I have not listened to something for the podcast.
Do you want to know what's hilarious? The best part about this track is for sure the end. But anyways,
That's awful. That's awful. I can't go back and do it. I can't. Oh my god, I'm not strong enough.
Since you didn't listen to the song, let me explain it for everybody. First of all, do 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 over and over again. It's beatless, so obviously, as somebody who preferred less beat in the tracks, I'm okay. But then the key synths instead are just so much more overpowering and somehow cheesy. How
It
do you
literally
make
felt like a Nana Nana Boo Boo thing.
it does kind of feel like vicious mockery. It is not okay.
It's rough. It was rough, dude.
It's pretending to have like a little bit of swing, but also isn't creating anything other than the fake swing it's trying to create. Right after the clip, like actually really shows like like it lays off like how penetrating that organ melody is. You get this such a slight like reprieve of that booming note over and over again, and then it comes back and you're like, oh no, it's returned. It's
Just
the melody of the singing and the lyricism, honestly, in my opinion, was actually nice, but you can't hear it if it wasn't for this tacky penetrating synth stuff. I want to appreciate Tame Impala. I want to. So badly. Because, like, again, lyrically, I think this is maybe one of the best tracks. But you can't hear them over the pipe organs, the electronic pipe organ you decided to implement here. It's strange. The change up for the outro happens again, this is the most pleasant of the outros.
I'll take your word for it.
So it
I don't
does
think I'm
change.
strong
Oh,
enough
no,
to
you
try to
got
make
to.
it through this. Oh,
You have to.
God.
So I'm pretty sure that defines what my brain is like afterthought, when I've no longer thought anymore. And will never thought again. Let's listen to Afterthought. We get the drums, so maybe you'll appreciate it.
I'm not complaining, but I've noticed lately when we're alone, it's like I'm keeping you waiting. My hopes are fading, 'cause nothing's changing. I'm still so far away from calling you baby.
Over Josephine's. She's in between the sheets. No time for pleasantries. No time for pleasantries.
It's just so fucking
Why the pan
weird.
flute? Where did the pan flute come from?
I literally said this for our fellow people at home. This is where I realized I had one song left. This, as all of this is happening, I went, oh, there's 12 songs. Okay. And I literally, I was like, I don't know that I can do this. I just had to skip a song. I don't know if I can do this. The first actual comment I made was, this is a Thriller-ass beat. Ba-dum,
It
bum,
is.
bum, bum, bum. Ba-dum, bum, over and over. And I was like, okay, he's at least gonna do something. No, it's just the same thing.
Yep.
I said, this one's doing something. It's not great. I'm just happy it's not empty or monotonous or I guess uninspired. I don't know. You did Thriller. We've heard most of this. I'm gaslighting myself. Is this a bop? It might be a bop. I don't know anymore. And then I just explicitly, I tried to even go back to the lyrics. I was like, there's gotta be something. And I just saw I can be emotional if you need me to. And I just in all caps, we need you to do anything. Anything, Kevin, please. Like, I felt, at this point, it felt like a fever dream. Like, I don't know what you're doing to me. I don't know if I just picked the wrong time to listen. I don't know what's happening. Like, this ended up being one of my highest rated on the album. And I genuinely feel like it's like I've been held hostage and I'm just like deluded at this point. I don't know if I actually like it. I don't know what to think because I don't even know what's happening. I forgot about the pan flute. Like I don't even know. I don't know, man. It's too much.
I did right. Like, I do think it's
Oh
like they
my
were trying to
God.
make an EDM dance album, but they don't really know what EDM is.
It's
All they know is that there is drums, and that seems to be one of the more important aspects.
it's like baby's first garage band. Like I don't know what's happening.
To be honest with you, this track specifically, if it played at the bar, like while people are dancing, I'd be like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm wasted and dancing, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
Oh my God.
It feels like nothing matters anymore. Is what Afterthought starts to feel. Like, this whole album just kind of starts to feel like. Again, the tracks I've really enjoyed, I love. These are, like, this song feels like an afterthought. Like, it's...
And I hate that the afterthought for me felt like you almost nailed EDM more than like 90% of the other stuff.
Yes.
Like, and I genuinely, I'm tearing up. I don't know, like, I literally feel like I have gaslit myself into liking this, but I can't find as many things wrong with it, so maybe I do like it. I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. I just... And then there was still one more song. Like, it was
There is.
so bad. Oh my God, dude. It was so rough. Oh my God, this album.
It's just so... It's absurd.
Oh,
It is
God.
the strangest thing. It's the weirdest anomaly I think I've ever experienced in my life. It's, let's talk about End of Summer, and then we can go on.
Oh.
So End of Summer, I didn't pull a clip for it, so we don't have to listen to it again. So there you go, Rose.
Oh, God.
We're okay there. We covered this track in episode 15 of the Track Attacks. So if you want to hear it, go back there. That's where you can also hear also our take on it. At that point, I gave it a 6.1 is what I gave this song. And
I gave it a 6 at that point.
I feel in the context of this album, after I have been abused by bass and drums, after I have been held hostage by kicks, after I had to listen to the strangest synth do 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 whatever that was supposed to be. In the context of this album and what this album did to me, it is significantly worse than what I gave it credit for. It hurt my feelings to know that this was something that I gave a certain answer to, because I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that this was going to be the tail end of an absolute thrashing. This was the rubbing alcohol after being dragged through like thorny bushes. And it's just like, technically this was going to be your favorite part. I'm like, I didn't know this is what it was gonna be all the way up to it. I was looking forward to this album because I was like, maybe it will make End of Summer better for me. No, End of Summer actually just feels like the biggest.
To see where you put this, and you know what? I should have known better because you said End of Summer, and you know it's at the end of the album, and it really wasn't that hidden or clever.
Afterthought
and,
could have also
you know,
been at the end of an album
yeah.
too, especially
But
this one. Although you need to think before.
The only thing I wrote that is different from my original critique at all on this when we did it before was I went off. I was again with the Yamaha motherfucking keyboard pre-programmed bullshit beats in parentheses. Didn't we already hear this beat before? Am I gaslighting myself? Next line. I am gaslighting myself. Turns out I recognize it because we critiqued it before. My bad. I just said, fuck it. I'm pasting my old notes and just... The chipmunk ass voice still bugs me to hell and back. This again, I don't I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. And
it's
like
another 7-minute song. In case, so anybody who did like everything, if you like that, End of Summer's great. If you like all of the samples that we've played so far, End of Summer, gotta love it. It's just this really aggressive, simple drum beat. It's just dance music. It's about as basic as you can get. The whole album, because of these drums, just blends into itself. I have a headache at this point. I feel like because of how I feel about the drum portfolio, it's not in a good way. The finale for this album is no different from everything. If I could take the pieces that I love from this album, which is maybe 2 songs, kind of 3, maybe, and scratch the rest of it, I would love it. I think 2 tracks on this could have made a great EP. The oversimplified dance tracks that they're reminiscent of a scratch DJ at a nightclub and not an award-winning nominated artist like Tame Impala. This was poor. And I feel bad about it.
Yeah, given all of that, what did you give this?
In conclusion, yeah, Tame Impala's 5th installment leaves a lot on the table. I think there's moments of this album that are peak versions of Tame Impala, and Parker absolutely rocks, in my opinion, that indie sphere. Like I said, I like the lo-fi indie vibe. You wanted to play with the beats. Different takes, still end up at the same result. Unfortunately, like all those moments, they're front-loaded, in my opinion. Like they were early on in the album, and then they become very far in between. The beat selection is what decidedly has taken center stage on most of it, but by doing so, it also established itself in no other way than volume and penetration. Not in complexity, skill, or any kind of compliment. This makes it a really frustratingly difficult listen. It's, I would love to talk about how much I adore tracks like My Old Ways. It was a top-notch track, and like it had me hooked. I was really like excited to dive into the album because of that. Tracks like Loser and Not My World are cool and pleasant. The stuff in between them is just really filler dance beats with a lack of creativity, in my opinion. If this was a house artist, they'd be chased out of the genre, in my opinion, because it's bad house music, if that's what you were going for. If you were going for a lo-fi indie album, you also would have gotten kicked out of the genre, because it's a bad expression of that. I can credit Tame Impala for trying to experiment with moving into an electric house zone, but I just don't think it hits the mark of good house music. It hurt the psych pop space that Tame Impala has historically dominated in, and it's bad house music, and it's made it bad music. I gave this a 3-7.
Okay, we're about there. Even from looking for more of the heavy, like, bass bumping stuff, I mean, so much of it just falls flat. You're missing any sort of intrigue, development, change, anything that diverts expectation to really create suspense and cool moments. And, I mean, what I like is the stuff at best where I'm like, okay, if I just put this on and I'm not really listening and I'm not really thinking about it, I'm into it. The only one that felt thought-provoking maybe is Afterthought, and it's mostly because I don't know if I gaslit myself into liking it and just seeing it in context amongst everything else. If I felt better about it because of how much I didn't like surrounding it. And that's not a great place to leave an album. And especially, like, going back with some of the context of hearing some of the other stuff he's done, and it's well mixed, it sounds well produced, it sounds intentional and thought out, and there's a lot of artistry to it. I just feel, I mean, points for the creativity and for branching out. I don't think this is where we need to be, and if we do, I think we need to do more listening and learning from people who are really doing it well in this sphere, and who really even just created the genres.
That was such a teacher way to put that, but
a 3-8.
yeah, okay. So we're on.
My final note was, I wish this was Rihanna 9, aka never coming out. So yeah.
Well, everybody out there, that's another album review in the books. That has to be the worst album review I think that we've had. Like by like a long shot. I think roughest start to finish. I think we've had others where we rated not well either, but they had I don't think we've ever been below
hope.
5. I genuinely don't think there's been very many that are below 5. Ever.
I think I might have done that once before. But
you might have, but I can guarantee you as a group we didn't.
Yeah.
As a group we did not.
It's rough.
It's bad. But maybe you guys don't think so. Tell us in the comments. Hit subscribe. Please don't hit unsubscribe if you're a Tame Impala fan and you're already subscribed, because that seems more likely based on how this whole thing went. Or maybe do. Maybe it means that we haven't reached you in the right way when it comes to music, because this was a tough one. But make sure you let us know in the comments. Hit subscribe. Don't hit unsubscribe. Appreciate your takes. We want to hear maybe there's something we missed. And to be honest with you, I did miss a lot now that I'm listening to it with headphones, and it made it worse for me. I had a much better ranking before actually hearing even the clips, and I was like, oh no, it's getting worse.
Yeah, same.
It just keeps slipping. So yeah, appreciate you guys for being here. Thanks for that. Concludes our episode of our episode 21 of On Beat Off Script. What's coming up next? What do we got coming up in 2 weeks on I have it written down that it's November 25th, but that is not when we're going to be recording. One moment, let me take a look which is
You're
the
really
correct date. November 8th.
Yeah.
November 8th, we've got a couple of cool records that we're looking forward to. We were looking forward to Tame Impala as well, but c'est la vie. Sometimes
Hopefully
things
they'll
don't
have
go
some
your way.
mercy on us, you know?
But we do have a couple of albums that I'm personally pumped on. Arm & Hammer and The Alchemist is dropping their album, Mercy. For those of you who don't know who Arm & Hammer is, it is a duo consisting of Billy Woods, actually, who we've covered on this album before with his album that came out earlier this year, Gollywog. And pardon me, I'm a jerk. I do not remember who the other member of Arm & Hammer is. I should look it up. I should check it out. And just make sure you don't accidentally click on the
Elucid.
Russian emperor's grandson or whatever. Elucid. Yes. Elucid. Sorry, Elucid. Love ya. We've also covered Elucid a couple of times on here, too. So, kind of cool. Going to be a little bit of a callback, but like as a group of two people working together, I loved Arm & Hammer's last one, which is We Buy Used Diabetes Strips. There we go. That's
Man,
what
this,
it's called.
this album really did a number on us.
It really
Oh,
did. My
boy.
brain is broken. Then we have Daniel Avery, a dream pop artist, with their new album Tremor, which is going to be cool. And then Florence and the Machine. We're going to get back into that kind of folksy indie area and see what Florence plus the Machine has on the go. Indie rocker with their new album Everybody Scream coming out on October 31st. So, yeah. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate it lots. I'm Brandito. This is
I'm
Rose. Appreciate you guys being here. Don't hate us too bad for how much we hated Tame Impala. Love you
Yeah.
already. Bye forever.
Bye. God, that's rough.
That was a tough go.
Oh.
3, 2, 1.